Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Silo Talks, where the edits are minimal and the content is abysmal. I'm your host, Silas Sanchez, aka Silo Jaw, aka the coolest guy you probably know. And today we'll be just kind of talking about whatever I feel like, because that's the whole point of the show, is to just talk about what I want to talk about. I don't know why I burp so much, but it is something I do. So, anyways, in the background, you'll notice that there is a game playing, JetSet Radio, and people who are listening, don't worry about it. It's just going to be on the background. It's not going to be really talked about much. It's just there for people who want to watch this on YouTube or want to have something visual on while listening to the audio. Anyways, anybody else have a problem with the powder inside like water? Let me explain this to you. And let me explain the reason why I bring this up entirely is because recently I had, you get like a water and they have that like drink powder you can put in there that usually has flavor in it. It's like flavor up your water, or sometimes it has like vitamins. It can have a whole bunch of things in it. And so recently I got one and I had the same problem I feel like I always have with those drinks. And that is the fact that you have to have a certain amount of water in order to like kind of get it to have flavor. Like sometimes it'll be too much flavor, right? And when it's too much flavor, it's not good. It tastes disgusting. And then sometimes it's not enough flavor, so like you kind of get a hint of it, but like it's still not like that great. I feel like there's like it works like 90% of the time, where 90% of the time you put it in your drink, it tastes good. And then the other 10% of the time is when it actually tastes good. But I digress. It just really annoys me that water has to just kind of, be absolutely dog water. Anyways, this is the content you come for, hopefully. Hopefully you come for this amazing content of talking about water. Because honestly, yeah, I don't know. But I've been doing a lot of shows lately. If I met you at a show, hi, how you doing? I'm glad that you're watching my podcast or listening to it, either or. But I've been doing a lot of shows lately, which has been really fun and also extremely tiring. And I'm not complaining. That sounds like I was complaining. I love doing shows. Don't get me wrong. Shows are some of the best experiences of my life. I have a lot of fun at shows. I meet a lot of cool new people. And I get to obviously sell my art, which is very inspiring. To be like, hey, the art I create is actually something that people like to hang up on their walls. And it's kind of weird to think about, and I don't really think about it too much, is how people, actually put that up on their wall. And I'm like, oh, yeah, right. Like, it's just weird to think about, like, right now, at this moment, there is multiple people who have my art hanging up in their room. And it's just an interesting thing to think about, because oftentimes I feel like I don't think about it that much. And when you think about it, it's actually really cool to know that. Because I have art hanging in my room from different artists, different comic book artists, and different artists I meet at shows too, because I love buying art at shows. Just because I'm an artist does not mean I don't enjoy buying art, because I absolutely 100% love art. And just because I make it actually just gives me more of an appreciation for it, I feel like. I feel like people do like art, but I feel like when you make art and you realize how much goes into the process of making art, you appreciate it just that much more. I love going to art museums. I don't frequent them like all the time, but I do make it a point to go sometimes, just to go check out realism and all that other kind of forms of art, modernism, all that stuff, and which I learned in my art history class, which honestly was probably one of the most boring classes ever. And I almost failed that class, which is funny because, people are like, you almost failed art history? How? You like art? And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't mean that the history of it's that fun. Because most of the time, the assignments was just learning about a piece, learning about the creator and why they made it, which that part was interesting, but then also learning about like, there was just a lot of boring stuff that I feel like, man, just would really get me absolutely bored. And yeah, it would make it boring. But I mean, I love art. I love all forms of art. I feel like every form of art has something to it, and I think that comes from the fact that when people create art, they put themselves in it. You know what I'm saying? I know that might be weird to say, or you may not have heard that before. You may have, but really, what that expression is saying is that, like, when you create a piece of art, um, create a piece of art, that your ideas, your feelings, your emotions, they go into it, whether or not directly or whether or not intentionally. There is always a piece of you that goes in your art, or anything you create. Really, it doesn't have to just be art. That you go, and people create movies all the time and put their own thoughts, feelings, emotions in there. So, I mean, art's constantly just filled with personality. I just feel like people don't really understand that sometimes, especially with fine art. I think people are like, you get the things where it's like impressionism and stuff like that, or, like there's just some types of art form that people go like, hey, my 8-year-old could do that, which granted, they probably could do some, art that you see in a museum, and you could even do it yourself. But the point is that those pieces are famous because the artists behind them, have a name to them and a reputation to them. And most of those artists didn't do it for the money. And most of those artists didn't do it to receive fame. Most of the artists did it because they had a passion for the art that they were creating, and they had an idea. And most people that create art that you see in museums often hated the way like their art at their time was, and wanted to change it. So for example, like there was a point in time where everything had to be realistic, and people were like, man, I hate realism. Let's do our own thing. And then they did, the stuff that people say, oh, my 8-year-old could do. And that came from a form of wanting to see, art change and not be stuck in its ways, which I think is awesome. There's a lot of hidden backstory behind art that people don't often talk about or associate with their art pieces. They just more think of it and look at it at face value instead of really looking at the deeper hidden meanings of art. And yeah, that's my little art talk, my fine art talk. So there you go. You get some information of my thoughts on fine art, which I think, it's awesome. And if you've never been to a museum before, there's most likely a museum nearby. And I'd highly, highly, highly recommend going. It's a fun time, take a couple of your friends, look at art. And I think it's just overall a fun time, but I know a lot of people don't like art. So that's just my little recommendation. But I think you should at least go at least once. I think you should at least go to an arts museum, or some form of art festival. I mean, I guess you can count, like, you see art at Comic-Cons, but, that's more of like fan art and stuff like that, which is nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that there's definitely a lot of different forms of art that you can see, and I would highly recommend, go experience that and check it out. It's really cool. It's really cool to just see different forms of the medium of art. So yeah. Anyways, on a more fun topic, the Mario movie came out, and I saw it several times already. I know a lot of people were kind of mixed about it. They're like, I mean, I heard a lot of people be like, yeah, I love the Mario movie. And I also saw a lot of people were like, yeah, it was okay. I was kind of disappointed by it. And I'm like, why are you disappointed about a Mario movie? And they're like, because, just seemed like too kiddish or something like that. Definitely a lot of reviews that way, where it's like, this is a very shallow movie, where it's like there's not a lot of like message, or not a lot of kind of deeper tones to it. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, it is a Mario movie, and I know it's not like, I hate that when people are like, it's a kid's movie, dude. You're not a kid anymore. So therefore, you wouldn't like it as much as a kid. It's not made for you. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't mean you can't like a kid's movie. I mean, think about Shrek and the new Puss in Boots. Everybody loved that movie. And just because it's a kid's movie doesn't mean that they couldn't appreciate it or like it. So I think that, that argument's kind of stupid. But I loved all the references. People said, too many Easter eggs, too many references to other things. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. There was a lot of like, Punch-Out, Duck Hunt. There's just so many other Nintendo properties that were referenced in there that just makes it so much fun. Overall, it's a fun movie. Thought it was a fun experience. And obviously, it's been out for quite a while. And I think it just made $1 billion. So that's cool. So expect a lot more of Mario movies or Nintendo movies in general, which I am 100% down for. I love those kind of movies. It's just a fun time. And I feel like a lot of people don't often enjoy fun movies, but I absolutely adore them, love them. There's just something about like watching a movie and it doesn't have to say anything. It doesn't have to be like a deep philosophical thing, or it doesn't have to be a new thing that, the world's never seen before. Oh my goodness, this is so creative, so bombastic. Sometimes I think like we just need movies to just be fun. Just to kind of just be junk food. That's why I'd always refer to those. A junk food movie. A junk food movie is obviously like junk food, where it's not very like, it's not going to fill you up on like, it's not good. It's not like a new experience. It's not this new, it's not this new experience. It's not like this new grandiose idea. It's not going to change your life and your life's going to be changed forever, or your new, a new idea, a new philosophy, but it'll be this fun time where you watch it, you enjoy it, you go, that was fun. And then you kind of just, live your life, do your thing. But yeah, I think the Mario movie was really cool. I think it was really nice, all that stuff. yeah, I think it was good. Yeah, if you can tell, I thought it was great, amazing, fantastic. Except one thing, I kind of felt like, I know it was the Mario movie. I know it was the Mario movie, but the fact that there was a lack of Luigi kind of makes me upset. And I know he was in the movie, but like most of the time, he might as well have not, like, he was just the reason for Mario to like go on his epic quest. He wasn't with the quest until the end, I guess, but still, it was already kind of too late before, the movie happened, but I get it. Hopefully in the second one, he'll get some more screen time. Or, hopefully he gets his own Luigi's Mansion movie. That would be sick. I would love a Luigi's Mansion. Because Luigi's Mansion would be epic sauce. Okay, I know I wasn't going to say anything about the gameplay that I'm playing, and I'm not going to say anything because people who are listening cannot see, the gameplay. But this is one of my favorite games, and I know I am absolutely trash at it. I used to play it all the time when I was a kid on the original Xbox. I know this came out on the Dreamcast, but this is JetSet Radio. JetSet Radio, when I was younger, was like one of my favorite games because of the pure reason that you are a cool dude on some roller skates, or in this case roller blades, I suppose. And the whole objective of this game is to outrun the cops and graffiti everywhere. And I don't know if that concept gets you hyped, but it is such a cool thing. Obviously, I used to be way better at it, and I have not really played it in a long time, but the whole style of the game and the gameplay and the whole fact that you're just going around town putting graffiti everywhere just makes me so, like, this game is just awesome. I mean, I don't care. It's plain and simple, just cool to just be a guy graffitiing around, running away from the cops, being like, yeah, man, I'm going to graffiti some art. And the graffiti in this game is super cool, too, and the art style is super awesome. Overall, this game's just really cool, and if you've never heard of JetSet Radio, I'd highly recommend playing it. It kind of doesn't get a lot of love, which is sad, because I think if this bad boy got a remake, it would be really cool. I know there's a game coming out that is very similar to kind of the style and like idea of Jet Set Radio. There's going to be like bikes and skateboards, I think. It's not going to be necessarily just completely skateboarding, but completely rollerblading. It'll have the similar concepts, but dude, Jet Set Radio is so cool. It's just really, it really is just sick. I'm just really bad at it because, like I said, I have not played this in forever. I keep getting shot by the cops because, yes, graffiti is a crime that is punishable by death. So yeah, just be careful for that new law. If you graffiti something, you're gonna die. Oh, I didn't even see that the first time. But yeah, that's what I'm playing right now is JetSet Radio. Highly look it up. Highly recommend looking it up. The characters are awesome. I love Beats, which is the character I am right now. He's cool. This game is just really cool in general. So, if you have some, I think this was like, it was really cheap on Steam too, which is where you buy computer games because that's what I'm playing it on right now. It was pretty cheap, so if you got a couple extra bucks, a couple extra hours, and you're in the rollerblading and graffiti, this is the game for you. That niche has finally been filled. Like, since, I don't even know when the original came out, like 2000, I would imagine. But yeah, I am not the best. But anyways, it is super fun. Super fun game. You know, a game I'm excited about is the new Skyward Sword. What? That's not the new game. Gosh, the new Legend of Zelda game. I cannot think of it. It's not Skyward Sword. That's stupid. That's the old game. Anyways, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, which I cannot think of currently at this moment. Sorry, all Zelda fans. But dude, that game looks so cool. The fact that you're able to like combine things and items to create like weapons and vehicles and all that stuff is such a cool thing for me. I think it's going to be so fun to just goof around and play on, which I think is a huge part of video games that I absolutely adore, is just games where you can kind of just roam around and like create things and explore on your own. That stuff's really fun to me. And also Fortnite. I just absolutely love Fortnite, but yeah, but I think it's going to be really fun. I'm excited to play it. I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I am planning on getting it because it looks like it's going to be a fun time. And I think the first Breath of the Wild was really good. But obviously you know that. If you don't know what Breath of the Wild is, then you probably don't game that much. And you've probably been living under a rock because it was one of the most highly like loved games in the Zelda franchise. Probably a lot of people's first Legend of Zelda. I know that was like the first time I've ever played a Legend of Zelda game, which is people were like, that's kind of crazy. But I knew a lot of people where that was their first Legend of Zelda game. And I mean, heck, what a great game to start off with. Yeah, I mean, it was really fun. So if you have a Switch, and apparently you've never heard of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you can add that to your list too. Yes, I recommend games now. Cool. Absolutely sick. Okay. I'm gonna fall into my death. Sick. That is awesome sauce. Now you're probably asking yourself, what is the point of this podcast? And you know what? That's a very good question. It's mostly just time for me to kind of vent out. Not really vent. That sounds like I'm upset or something. I think it's just a cool thing I can do where I feel like it's just kind of fun. And I'm also like working on my website right now and kind of working on figuring out how the whole podcast thing is uploaded to Spotify, which, hi, if you're listening on Spotify, I figured it out. And I figured out how to add the artwork and all that stuff and get it submitted off of my website. I've been learning how to make a website in school. So I made a website, which is silasesanchez.com. And that is my name. So there, but yeah, that is, that is, how, like, why I'm starting this podcast. It's really just a lot of learning on how to do things and also just wanting to create, future podcasts and stuff like that. I also just thought it would be fun to just kind of do in my free time is just make a podcast. So people at shows that I'm starting to meet, I don't know if they want extra content from me or just want to hear me ramble on about the most nonsensical junk, they can. Or maybe just get an audience or stuff like that. But yeah, that's really the point of this podcast is just me kind of experimenting and learning and adding another thing to my portfolio of things I can do. Because I feel like that's a huge thing is, having a nice portfolio of things that you can do. Because a lot of jobs look for that. And what is the job I'm going for? That is a good question, ladies and gentlemen. That is a very good question. A round of applause for whoever asked that question. Going after a job I want. Dream job would absolutely be making comic books. I would love to make comic books for Marvel, DC, Image Comics, Dark Horse, like any comic book studio. Heck, even working on an indie one, I know I have my own comic that I'm working on, but obviously I don't upload that frequently, and it's obviously not making any kind of I'm not making any kind of money off of that. So obviously a stable, or not even a stable, just a job where I get to make art and create for a living would be just the ideal dream. And that's something I've obviously been chasing after, and that's why I go to shows and sell my art and all that stuff. So following the dream may not look exactly what I thought it would look like, but obviously you have to grow. Growing is just a huge part of anything in life. You just got to grow and kind of roll with, what you get and keep working at it, and, it'll eventually pay off. I'm still waiting for the payoff part. But no, I seriously just, if it was all about the money, obviously I would kind of not do this, because, there's a lot of other things that you can get money for and get, kind of make a living off of. But see, art's just been a passion for me for a while. For a while, as in my whole life. I remember, ever since I can remember, I've been drawing. So this isn't more than just money. It's just wanting to strive to do something that like just makes you happy. I feel like that's huge. Like I honestly, when I draw, it's really nice to just kind of be in my element. It's really nice to just be in my zone. And overall, I would not trade art for anything else. It's been one of the things that make me. And although it's, I'm not making millions off of it yet, we're going to add that yet in there. It's just something that makes me happy. And I think that alone is worth all the hard work. It's worth everything I do. Because at the end of the day, I'm just doing this for fun right now. I'm doing this obviously to as a goal to one day make it my profession, but you got to start somewhere. So never be afraid to start somewhere. I think that's the scariest part. And I'm not saying that because I think I'm better than anybody else. Heck no, I'm not better than anybody else. I just give advice that I feel like I would have needed when I wanted to start, doing art and anything like that. Because when I first started doing shows like that, I first of all didn't even think I was good enough to be in shows, which, my art, when I first started doing Comic-Cons and all that stuff, was not impressive. It was probably bottom of the barrel, probably some of the lowest art, I think, at most shows we went to. And it's kind of embarrassing to think about it now, but at the time, that was the best I could do, and that was obviously progress. It was progress to just, do art and stuff like that. So I don't regret those times, but definitely, like I said, probably shouldn't have sold my art because of how low level it is, but you have to start somewhere. That's the whole point of this. Even though my art might not have been worthy to, to be sold or bought, I still had to start somewhere, even if it wasn't, the best. You have to start in order to grow. So I started it. Wasn't the best art. Still isn't the best art you see at a show, but I'm improving. I'm putting myself out there, and that's a huge step. That's the hugest first step, is just putting it out there, even if it's not ready, because you'll never be ready. That's what I've heard from so many different artists, so many different people in so many different fields. You'll never feel 100% ready. There'll never be this moment in your life where you're like, yep, I'm 100% confident. I'm 100% confident in what I do. I'm 100% confident that, my work is the best work I'll ever create. And I think millions of people will want to buy it. I feel like you'll never really reach that moment where it's like, hey, my art's amazing and all this stuff. You can think your art's good. I'm not saying that, but I don't think there's a moment where it hits you like a movie moment. Those movie moments where they're like, that's it. Light bulb over the head. Yeah, it just doesn't happen like that. So anybody who's thinking about pursuing any kind of work, any kind of dream, you got to start somewhere. Even if you're a YouTuber, movie creator, podcaster, you just got to put it out there. That's the first step, and I feel like that's a huge step, because once you start putting it out there, then you kind of start working it. You keep working on it, and you might form an audience. You might find people that like your stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff could happen that could help you. You meet other people like-minded like you who will give you tips and pointers. There's just so many things and so many advantages to, putting your work out there. And plus, you get to show it. You work so hard on all this stuff that you do, and not to kind of show it off and like kind of not to have any kind of end goal thing. It's just kind of not great because you put so many. Think about this, right? Leonardo da Vinci, right? He's one of the greatest artists. He was smart, all this stuff like that. Imagine he created all of the paintings he ever created, right? He painted the Mona Lisa, all this stuff, right? He created it, and then he never showed anybody. So all that hard work, all that work he did may not have been his best stuff or what he thought was his best stuff, but he showed it and people got to experience it. But if he had never shown it off, then what was all the work for? What was all that time spent on his art? What was all that time spent on all his ideas and his thoughts? I mean, you just gotta put it out there, and it's scary. It absolutely is scary, 100%. It's a scary experience to put yourself out there, and like I said, especially artwork, because I feel like so many artists put themselves in their artwork, and so it's like exposing a part of yourself to the public, and it can be so scary to see what people's feedback is and all that stuff. But you just got to know that there will be people who will like it. There will be people who will hate it. There will be people who think it's good. There will be people who think it's okay. There'll always be somebody who thinks they can do it better. And all I got to say to that is let those people just say what they have to say, Let them talk. Let them think those things, but here's the difference between them and you. When you're at a show or you're putting your artwork out there and, you hear people saying, I could do better. I could do so much better. I could, if I mean, this guy, you're not great. You're not good. I could do 1,000 times better than the artwork I'm seeing. Here's the difference between you and them. Sure, let's just hypothetically say those people who are like, yep, I could do better than them, are actually better than you, right? Let's just say in this hypothetical situation, they're amazing, incredible, the best artists in the world. The difference between you and them is that you are actually out there putting your artwork out. So they can say, I'm better than them. I mean, I could do way better than them. And yet, here you are, following it, pursuing your dreams, putting your work out there, and you know what they're doing? Nothing. They're not doing anything at all. So the difference between you and them is that, how that they say I could do better? Well, you're doing it. You're doing the work. You're putting in the hours. You're doing all this stuff that they say they can do, and yet they're not doing. So have a little bit of pride in everything you do. Have heart knowing that you're posting your stuff on Instagram, or you're posting your stuff on TikTok, or you're sharing it on, I don't know, Reddit, or you're sharing it on DeviantArt. That's huge. That's a huge step, and it's scary. And you should be proud of yourself. You should be proud of yourself for willing to put yourself out there, because it's scary. It is. It's 1,000% scary. It is 100% not the most comfortable thing to do, but how you grow as a person, how you grow as an artist, how you grow as a creator, how you grow as a YouTuber, how you grow in any field, is you have to do some things that feel scary. You have to do some things that feel you're unsure about, uneasy about. My first show, I was 1,000% nervous and scared that nobody was going to buy anything. I was afraid that I was going to go in there, people were going to tell me, oh my goodness, like, look at this. You think this is good? I was afraid of all this stuff, afraid of all the things that people were going to say to me. And guess what happened? Everybody lifted me up, whether they were lying or not. They told me, hey, this is good work, or hey, like, keep up the great work. And you know what? It was so less scary when I was doing it. It's always that first step that's scary. So I guess my point is, take the first step, seriously. Don't be afraid of what people say, because people will say things. People will absolutely say things, whether to your face, behind your back. People will say things to you, but at the end of the day, let them just say what they have to say, because they don't matter. It's your dream. It's your goal. It's your idea. It's your thoughts. It's your imagination. It's your ability to do something. It's your ability to create something. It's your ability to make something. Who cares what they have to say? Who cares if they don't like it? Who cares if they're like, I can do better? You're doing it. You're following your dreams. And so many people out there are so afraid to follow their dreams. And so you're doing way better just by following your dreams, believing in yourself. It's so easy to put, uplift other people. It's so easy to be like, if your friend's like a basketball player, man, you did great on that. It's so easy. Hey, your friend's a musician. She plays an instrument. Hey, you're doing good at that. It's so easy to lift other people. It was incredible. You did amazing, fantastic. Yet when it comes to ourselves, we think the absolute worst. We give ourselves no credit. We give ourselves no inspiration. We tell ourselves, this is trash. You tell ourselves this is garbage. We tell ourselves, all this negative things about ourselves. So we don't help ourselves. And then we don't help ourselves. We put ourselves down. We don't encourage ourselves. And then on top of that, the world out there is not going to help us either. So who are we left? I mean, sure, you have friends and family, and they uplift you too, but at the end of the day, the only person's opinion that matters is your own. I know that sounds selfish, weird, all that stuff, but if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe that your artwork is great, if you don't believe that you're improving, if you don't believe that you're capable of doing something incredible, then why would you keep doing it? And I know people will say, like, if you don't believe in yourself, why do you expect other people to believe in yourself? And that's true. But also what I'm saying is, if you don't believe in yourself, then what's the point of even doing it? What's the point of even trying? If you don't believe in what you can do, then why even create? Why even get up? Why even keep going? And you got to ask yourself, why don't you believe in yourself? It's a hard question to ask. Why don't I believe in myself? Why is it such a hard thing for me to not believe in myself? And it's sometimes scary to ask that question. It's sometimes scary to have those conversations with yourself. It's scary to think about those thoughts of why I don't believe in myself. But at the end of the day, you have to fight that battle. You have to fight that mental barrier. You have to be able to look past your own doubts, your own disbeliefs, and you have to just push through it. Because let me just tell you, once you conquer yourself, life becomes so much easier. And what I mean by that is, once you're able to control your fears, your thoughts, your emotions, it becomes easier to do what you need to do or what you want to do. And I'm not saying I'm a master at it. Nope, not even close. I still get scared. I still have fears. I still sometimes just can't get control of my, emotions, all that stuff. And that's okay. But the whole point of me saying this is the fact that you are your only hurdle. Yourself is your only hurdle. If you believe, then you can do it. If you believe, you can do it. If you believe, you can do it. What's stopping you after that point? Oh, my family doesn't, believe in me. Do you? Do you believe in you? Oh, you don't understand, like, nobody thinks I'm good enough. Do you think you're good enough? Oh, you don't understand. There you go. I just don't. You don't believe in you. So I'm giving you this challenge. Start believing in yourself, even if nobody does. If nobody does. If absolutely zero people believe in you. But you do. And I mean fully believe, not just half believe, not just be like, I could do it. I could try. I mean, I think I'll be okay. Nope. You got to 100% push it. I know it's scary to put 100% into everything we do, especially in what we believe in ourselves. Putting 100% faith in ourselves, whew. Talk about something that's a little scary. But you have to just believe that you can do it. You have to believe that you're able to improve. You have to believe that you can go out there and follow your dreams, because you're your last hurdle. You're your only hurdle. And once you get past yourself, once you're able to get past that mental barrier, well, then there's nothing else. There's only one goalie, it's yourself. There's only one thing stopping you from ever achieving your dreams. It's you. I don't care if you don't have the money. I don't care if you live in a bad place. I don't care if you've had a bad home. All these things stop you and may be an obstacle for you to get over. But it's easy once you have you by your side. It's easy once you believe in yourself. It's easy once you are capable of putting 100% trust in yourself and your abilities and your dreams and your goals. Then there's just nothing else to stop you. And there will be obstacles. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying once you have you on your own team, those obstacles are just notes in your story. Those obstacles become things in your story that you get through and you move on, and it's just a stepping stone. And man, sometimes those battles can be hard. Sometimes they can be difficult. Sometimes they can be complicated. Sometimes they take a while. Sometimes they're quick. But guess what? You have you by your side now. You have you on your team. And that's incredible. So many people don't even have themselves on their own team. And that's usually what stops people. Because we've all had dreams. We've all had, goals in life. But what's the first thing you hear before you even tell anybody else, before you even say it? No, you can't do that. What makes you think you can do that? You see those people who are doing it right now? Look at them. They're special. They have what they need. You, though, what makes you think you could do it? And that's just wrong. And that's your own thoughts. That's the first barrier, the first obstacle to any dream, thought, idea is yourself. Before you even say it. So the first thing you hear after thinking a thought, an idea, a dream is, let's do it. We can do this. We got this. We can handle this. It might be a little difficult, but hey, we can do it. I believe in us. Imagine how nice that would be. A nice change of pace. I have an idea, or this might be stupid. And then hearing in your own self-confidence, yeah, we got this. Let's do this. We can really do this. And that's a game changer. The ability to believe in yourself, the ability to conquer your negativity and conquer your bad thoughts. It'll help so much. You'll feel happier. You'll feel more successful. You'll feel more confident in yourself. It's a hard thing to come by, and it's a daily fight. Trust me, I still struggle with that all the time. But it's a battle worth winning. It's a person worth having on your team. I know that sounds absolutely bonkers, like having yourself on your team. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, well, trust me, it does. It does, because you're the first person you talk to. You're the first person to tell the idea to. And if it can't get out of your own head, if the idea can't get out of your own head, and it doesn't sound good in your own brain, and you're already shooting yourself down, so many other people are going to do it too. Believe in yourself, and good things will happen. Believe in yourself, and you'll be able to make the dream. The dream might not exactly look the way you want it to, but hard work, believing in yourself, dedication, consistency, all that stuff pays off. There's a reason that successful people become successful. And that's that they believed in themselves. They kept going after the tough fights, even when things looked like they weren't going to make it, even though things looked like they weren't going to work out. They said, but hey, I got one person on my side. Hey, at least at the end of the day, I know I tried, gave it my all, gave it my shot. I think that alone is worth trying your dreams. I think that worth everything. Knowing that you gave it your all, knowing that you tried. instead of always wondering what if. What if is such a killer, man. What if eats me up inside. Holy smokes. If you can imagine the amount of times I've said what if to myself, or the amount of times I've thought of something or tried to do something and I went, what if? Good way, bad way. What ifs just eat you up inside, always wondering what could be. Or, wondering what could be, what could happen. All that stuff consumes you if you just let it. Consumes you if you just think about it constantly. All the possibilities. You miss out on what's happening now, what dreams you could achieve now, instead of what if. What if I put my art out there and nobody buys it? What if I go to a con and people make fun of me? Those things are possibilities, not absolutes. Sure, they're possibilities, but you won't know until it happens. You won't know until you try. That's the problem. You don't know until you do something. So go do it. This is just the go do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Shia LaBeouf over here. Don't just go do it. I know it's simple to say, but the first step's the hardest step. Once you get past that, once you start believing in yourself, once you take the first step, things become a lot easier. Trust me. Become a lot easier. So believe in yourself. That's my goal for you guys. To believe in yourself. To go out and do the dreams, do the things that you never thought you could. At least try. Don't always play the what if game. The what if game will get you so stuck. It'll get you depressed. It'll get you sad. What if? Don't play that game. New game. Go do it. See what happens. You don't know what will happen until you do it. That applies to anything. Dream, job, going for a job interview, getting closer with, somebody. What if they don't like me? Oh, what if they don't want to hire me? Okay. But you tried. You gave it your all, right? You went and you did the thing. And then guess what? You go and do it. You could get the job. You could end up having a beautiful time. But here's the alternative. You don't get the job. Okay, but at least you know. It's not a what if anymore. It's an absolute. Didn't get the job. You don't have to wonder. So don't play the what if game. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing that you can get consumed by. So don't play the what if game. Go play the let's see what'll happen. We got to do it. We got to at least try. We got to go for it. Go for it, bro. I'm also speaking to myself when I'm saying all this. This is like inner dialogue coming out for you and me to encourage both of us. So, yeah, that's this is the SiloTalk podcast. And, thank you guys so much for listening, watching. I'm gonna try to get some people on here so it's not just me all the time. And we'll talk about different things, not necessarily always art-related things. I know that's kind of seemed the theme is art-related, and then the cereal episode, which was just me wanting to talk about cereal because, man, I do love me some cereal. I actually have some Captain Crunch upstairs, and it kind of sounds good right now. So I think I might know what I'm doing after this. I'm going to get some Captain Crunch. But believe in yourself. If you ever want to reach out, you can always message me on any social media platform. If you ever have any questions, ideas, thoughts, concerns, just need to talk to somebody, or you just want to continue this conversation, please feel free to talk to me. Please feel free to reach out. I'm always here to talk. I'm always here to encourage people. Or if you want me to look at your art, give you some tips, I don't know, pointers. I'm not the best artist, but I'll tell you what I think. And I think that'll be good. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for watching, listening. I don't know, whatever you do while doing this podcast, cleaning your room. If I'm going to be 100, I'd probably be either driving right now, listening to this podcast, or drawing, either one of those. If you're watching this, thanks for watching me play JetSet Radio absolutely horrible. This whole episode is pretty much me been trying to beat this episode, but I cannot find where the last two places to spray paint is. So yeah, this has just been frustrating. I've played this level like 3 times now. Just in case anybody was wondering what was happening in the background, I've been just absolutely failing at JetSet Radio. Oh man, that was a disgusting burp. Well, if you made it to the end of the podcast, there you go. You got my burp. If you didn't make it this far, then you didn't get to hear the epic burp. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, please give me an absolutely good rating. And yeah, I'll hang on, we're not gonna finish this while I just found this spray paint. Yeah. Hang on, okay, people who aren't watching, I'm sorry. Have a good rest of your day. I love you, care about you, appreciate you. Thank you for supporting me. If you met me at a show, yada yada. If you are watching this, I am getting shot at while spray painting graffiti on the wall. I gotta finish this. No. Come on. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, baby, that's what I've been waiting for. See you guys in the next episode. Bye. Peace. Ciao.